Hey, thanks for joining me today. You're listening to the Sit Down with Roman Gray. I've been having a hard time staying disciplined this year. Every time I veer off the path, I beat myself up over it, forgetting that I'm a human being and it's okay to not be okay all the time. It's scary to be honest with myself and acknowledge that I have no idea what the future holds. No matter what I do, or how hard I try, or what I think, I have no real control of what will happen in this life. It's like I went on this journey of self-improvement and growth, only to end up in an unfamiliar place, standing here stranded with more questions than I ever had before. It had me thinking, the one thing any of us really have any control over is ourselves, right? Our perceptions, actions, and habits. We can only be sure of ourselves. That's it. We don't control what people will think or how they might react. We don't control how the world spins or any of that. Feeling confused and unsure about what's to come or where to go is scary. A lot of times I'm unsure of what's the right thing to do, where to go, or if I'm even headed in the right direction. I'm not so sure if I even have a clear idea of what I want a lot of times. Life gets hazy and confusing, and you end up taking a wrong turn or missing your exit. Many times, it leaves me wondering, then what do I even stand for? For the longest time, I've always been scared of the idea of just floating through this life. This overwhelming sense of powerlessness. I feel like so many of us have this fear of being pushed down and held there, igniting in us this sense of desperation, gasping for control. It's when moments like that when I find my self-doubt creeping in. It's hard not to have that happen. It makes me want to feel less vulnerable. And it's when I finally find myself alone with nothing but my past and ego confronting me that I feel unsteady. When I actually allow myself to stop and let my facade fall to the floor, I don't like what I see. It becomes so frustrating because it's like what was working before isn't working now. So where did I go wrong? Maybe part of maturing or growing is admitting that we're all pretty clueless about most things in this life. Life is complex and unusual, and it seems like not even a whole lifetime will be enough time to understand it all. I have to remind myself that life goes as it does. I keep learning that I'm just doing my best, and I get to choose how I see my life and what I want it to be. Continuing to forgive myself and being okay with being a constant work in progress. If you ask most people if they thought that where they're at today in life is where they thought they would be 15 years ago, I feel like most of them would answer with a laugh, followed by the word no. That they had no idea they would end up where they're at today. It seems like feeling confused is part of the human journey. At every stage, there are new challenges. And with those new challenges comes self-doubt and uncertainty, and therefore confusion. We've all felt that tightness in our chest when things go left and we're trying to go right. The biggest battle we're ever going to have is with ourselves. That's why things like poetry and music and romance exist. These are things that we live for. If words and ideas and self-expression are enough to change the world, then they're enough to change me into who I want to be. To quote the ever-famous Robin Williams, life is one big verse that we get to contribute to. It begs the final question, what will your verse be?